Okay, I see the sign.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the June 10th meeting of the Connector Authority Board. We have a quorum. We will have to do everything by voice call, of course, because we are virtual. And with that, let me ask for an approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any additions or changes? All right. So Kathy, you're gonna do the roll call?
I will do the roll call. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Gary.
Yes, good morning, Captain.
Morning. Michael.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to try for Fay Ruth. Okay, Mark.
Yes.
Cassandra.
I'll abstain.
Dimitri. Oh, there he is. Dimitri, he's connecting. Secretary.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Nancy.
Morning, Kathy, yes.
Morning. Matt.
Morning, yes.
And Rena.
Yes.
Okay, that's everyone. Zaranik is not attending today.
Right.
Kathy, it
Kathy, I'm
looks like
sorry to
Dimitri's back.
jump in. Not quite sure what we just voted on.
The minute, Dimitri, good morning.
Oh, okay, good morning. So yeah, I approve.
But it's always good to clarify what we're voting on. All right, good morning. So I will turn this over to Lewis for the Executive Director's report. Good morning, Lewis.
Good morning, all, and I'm so happy to begin to see the reemergence of summer activities after the long year behind us. And I especially want to thank our chair, Secretary Sutters, for the enormous role you've had in getting us here. We have a relatively brief agenda today with 2 voting items. But before we get into today's agenda, I want to provide you with an update on our efforts to implement new insurance benefits created by the Federal American Rescue Plan. As you know, since April, we've been able to deliver to members new and additional subsidies to help make coverage more affordable. In the last 2 months, we have been able to see thousands of members begin to experience these benefits. One of the most important features of the new benefits is the first ever opportunity for people over 400% of the federal poverty level to be eligible for subsidies. Since April, our enrollments in plans that include federal tax credit help has increased by 11,000 people. That is an increase of about 60% in just 2 months. In addition, 60% of our 194,000 Connector Care members, more than 115,000 people, are now paying lower monthly premiums than before, as coverage that already featured very low premiums was made even more affordable due to the American Rescue Plan. Last month, we launched a new online calculator tool that provides users a 2-minute experience to see if they may qualify for a subsidy and look at plans and premiums to get a sense of what is available. In just a couple of weeks, the tool has seen more than 13,000 visits, with most of those visits carrying out a calculation. As of Monday this week, we began to offer a new benefit to people who have been on unemployment this year. These people can obtain Connector Care coverage with $0 premiums starting in July through the end of 2021. We are encouraging anyone who has been on UI this year, unemployment insurance this year, to apply for Health Connector coverage so we can get you enrolled in the tremendous new benefit. We are working with the Department of Unemployment Assistance to deliver the word directly to those currently on unemployment. This has been a long open enrollment period, which we extended due to the pandemic and the new American Rescue Plan benefits. We are in our 8th month, but we are prepared for a 6-week sprint to the July 23rd deadline, committed to maximizing awareness and delivering coverage to as many people as possible. Our outreach and education is working at full speed from now through July 23rd, including spots on TV, radio, and digital platforms, visibility and events at vaccination sites with local chambers of commerce, boys and girls clubs, and other community organizations. Our field team at events daily throughout the state starting this week. Participation in Cape Verdean, Puerto Rican, Chinese, and Brazilian festivals throughout the summer, and lead partnership in a health fair in Boston in early July. With our state reopening and people being fully vaccinated, our outreach staff is again starting to generate social media content live with navigators, including next month with our new navigators at the Lowell Community Health Center, which will come on board in July. We're really pleased to welcome them. With so much new to offer and an easy-to-use tool available to check on eligibility, we are hopeful that more people will be able to find quality coverage that they can afford between now and July 23rd. During today's meeting, we will briefly update you and ask for your vote on a change in minimum creditable coverage deductibles caused by a recent change in the federal formula used by our regulations. We will also be discussing with you our continued efforts to improve our customer service operations. I will speak more in depth during that presentation, but will reiterate now our commitment to providing our members with the highest level of service. We are intent on delivering a flawless experience to each and every member and must begin this next step now in order to prepare to deliver improvements in time for 2022 open enrollment. Thank you, as always, for your guidance and support as we continue to move forward. And with that, I'll yield the floor. Secretary, I believe you may.
Yep. Any questions of Lois? I always start talking before I hit the little button. I'm sure I'm not the only one. All right. All right. Let us turn over to, I'm assuming next up on is the minimum credible coverage amendment. And is that Marissa? There she is. Morning, Marissa.
Good morning. Just pull up our slides. There we go. Okay. Good morning. Today we'll be revisiting deductible limits for 2022 under the Health Connectors minimum creditable coverage regulations. In March, the board approved deductible limits indexed using the methodology outlined in the regulations, which relies on the premium adjustment percentage measure of health insurance premium growth as defined by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In late April, the premium adjustment percentage was finalized in a modified form. We recommend recalculating the 2022 MCC deductible limits to incorporate the new premium adjustment percentage, which would result in a reduction from $2,850 for an individual to $2,750. A bit of history on the premium adjustment percentage helps clarify the change. The statutory language of the ACA directs HHS to use a measure of premium growth since 2013 in indexing a variety of key values related to maximum out-of-pocket limits and APTC generosity, but it leaves the construction of this measure to HHS. Initially, the premium adjustment percentage reflected growth in employer-sponsored premiums on the grounds that the ACA's implementation created some uncertainty or instability in the individual market. In 2019, HHS determined that the dust had settled from ACA implementation and individual market premiums could be included with employer premiums in calculating the premium adjustment percentage. This indexing methodology was used by the prior administration in the proposed 2022 premium adjustment percentage, but when the current administration finalized the rule, they reversed course, citing objections from a majority of commenters. The final methodology uses only employer-sponsored premiums to track premium growth over time and so reflects slower growth than the previous approach. In practice, this change would reduce 2022 deductible limits from $2,850 for an individual, $5,700 for a family, to $2,750 for an individual and $5,500 for a family. Because separate drug deductibles are calculated as a percentage of the overall, you'll see that they have a slight decrease as well. While these changes don't necessitate any modifications to the plan designs outlined in our seal of approval earlier this year, The premium adjustment percentage also updates maximum out-of-pocket limits, which did require changes to our plan designs, but those have already been made. So I'll stop there and see if there are any questions, as this is a relatively small change.
Anybody? Nope. Nancy? Okay.
No, I mean, it's a change in a good direction. So.
Yeah. Right. All right, Marissa. All right, so is there any questions of Marissa before we take the vote? So there's a vote before the board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any further discussion before Kathy does the roll call? I think as Nancy says, this is in the right direction. All right, Kathy?
Okay, Gary,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cassandra,
Yes.
Dimitri,
Yes.
Secretary,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and Rena.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
All right, the motion carries. Thank you, Marissa.
Hello.
All right, I think the next item for us is the contact center support services and future planning. Is this you, Louis?
There I go. I am now unmuted. This is me, and thank you, board members. I am, I think, for the first time taking the role of primary deck presenter to the board. It's a mark of the accountability I, as executive director, personally accept for the quality of connector member services overall. Our member services need to improve. We've heard that clearly from our members. And today I'm recommending and requesting of the board a significant step in that direction. Next. Since early spring, the connector has carefully reviewed its current member service capacities and is working with each of our existing vendors to begin to chart a path forward. As you know, we undertook a procurement 2 years ago for contact center and back office and document processing functions. We named the entire project the Customer Experience Project because we're not looking for things or vendors. We are looking to advance our members' experiences with connector services. The project is not successful until that aim is achieved. As a result, the CXP work continues and the Health Connector remains committed to ensuring that members receive efficient and accurate assistance. And the Health Connector is in active discussion with our vendors regarding additional measures that could be taken for long-term improvements in services. As we dig deeper for results in the CXP effort, the Health Connector requested and received from Accenture in May a proposal for enhanced services modeled on the 2019 procurement. Next slide, please. Accenture has responded to that request. In general, it can take several months to implement contact center improvements. And the annual open enrollment process is that point at which the most members have the most critical interactions with the Health Connector. We'd like to start planning for key improvements in time for the 2022 open enrollment, which opens for shopping on November the 1st. Accenture played a key role in stabilizing services for our 2021 open enrollment effort, and we have worked closely with deeply experienced team leads in that endeavor. While it would and will take more time to define the specific terms of an enduring support services agreement and appropriate transitions from existing services, both of which are goals we would like to attain by our July board meeting. We are asking the board to support certain planning and design activities under a short-term letter agreement. Next. The particulars of the letter agreement the connector management is recommending and requesting authorization to enter are as follows. It would be a time and materials agreement with Accenture for planning and design work to be undertaken in June and early July at approved rates and a not to exceed cap of $3.4 million. Any payments made under the letter agreement would be credited against overall implementation of proposed platform and service components, including significantly and for the first time ever, a connector-owned and controlled customer relationship management system that will help us avoid long-term vendor lock-in and the pain and member disruption inherent in vendor transitions every time we re-up or renew or re-procure a contract. While the timelines are very tight and ambitious, staff believe that it is best to move expeditiously to address ongoing member concerns. This is the concise summary of our current situation and recommendation. Our next slide is a management recommendation for approval of the letter agreement to commence work with Accenture. But I will pause before we ask for the board's vote for any particular questions or comments.
Thanks, Louis. I know how committed you and the staff are around the customer experience. So let me just pause and see if there's any questions, comments from individual board members to Louis and his team. Okay, all right. So do you want to go to the vote page?
Yes, please. Next, Audrey. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a vote before us to approve the execution of the letter agreement, as you heard from Louis, not to exceed $3.4 million. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dimitri.
Second.
And thank you, Mark. Is there any further discussion before the board? All right, Kathy, you want to do the roll?
I will do the roll. Gary,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cassandra,
Yes.
Dimitri,
Yes.
Secretary,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Rena.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, the
Thank
motion
you.
carries. Thank you, Louis. One thing I would say, Louis, is I'm certain this goes without saying, just regular updates to the board at in the monthly updates we receive, as well as at board meetings, I think would be
Thank you.
good for
Yes.
all of us, right?
Yes, and we do have an ANF subcommittee planned for later this month, at which we will highlight much of the ongoing detail.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. All right, is there any further business before the board in June?
That's it from the connectors end.
I know. Any for the board members? Nancy?
Yeah, thank you. This is just something I wanted to ask if we could address at a future meeting. The material that was sent out with the premiums by region was very interesting to see. And I hadn't really focused on it in a while, but it looks like there's been quite an erosion of affordability for some age groups, which has always existed, people at higher income levels, but particularly as we knew on the islands. And I did a quick calculation. It looked like the lowest cost plan for sort of a middle age person, I don't know, 39, 40, has gone up like almost 50% in the last few years. And the new subsidies will obviously really help in terms of this, but I'm wondering at a future meeting, if we might take a look at affordability by region, and just get a sense of the interplay between the premiums and the individual mandate. Because I think obviously the more expensive premiums are, the less these new subsidies are going to help in some way. And we haven't, for very good reasons, had an opportunity to focus on this in a number of years. But I think this could be, I think, an important item to spend a little bit of time thinking about at a future meeting.
It's a great, we haven't because we've been so focused on other things.
Yes.
I think
Yeah, and it's obviously not a criticism at all, and I hadn't focused on it either.
Absolutely not.
I don't know what the solution on the on the islands is, and I think we all know what the major source of the problem is. But I think in particular, we know actually uninsurance rates have historically been really high on Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, ironically in some ways. So anyway, so if we could put this on an agenda at an appropriate juncture, I think it'd be a good item to address.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other business before the board? All right. Then this could be like one of our all-time quick meetings. If there's no further business before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's a second?
Second.
I'm assuming there's no further discussion as to whether you want to stay or not. So we'll let Kathy do the roll.
Okay, Gary,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cassandra,
Yes.
Dimitri,
Yes.
Secretary,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and Rena.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Be well. Take care, everybody. Next week, we will have 4 million people fully vaccinated in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and we are, and possibly
Fabulous.
one by the end of that week. So anything we can do to help, please let us know. And I look forward to being more fully engaged, and am grateful to all of you for your patience with me this past 15 months or so. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Secretary.
Be well, everybody. Take care. Good
Thank
summer.
you.
Thank you.